Any of you that are involved in sales or have been involved in sales will know, and you'll appreciate exactly what I'm going to say here, in that receptionists can be your best friend or your worst enemy. One of the most important things, or probably the most important thing for anybody involved in telephone sales, is to actually get through to the person that you want to speak to. Some receptionists will help you get through to the person, and others will be outright obstructive to the whole process. If we can't get through to the person that we want to speak to, then the sales process can't even begin. Now, I know some of you will have seen the video that I did a number of months ago about gatekeeper tactics, and you can download a lot of stuff on the internet, and there's a lot of books that you can read about approaches to get through the gatekeeper. Well, one of the things I've learned over the years is that yes, you can try and get through the gatekeeper, but sometimes, depending on the gatekeeper and depending on how helpful or not they're being, sometimes the best approach is just to avoid the gatekeeper, avoid the receptionist altogether. These are my top 3 tips to avoid getting through to the gatekeeper. First of all, let's think about technology that's available. A lot of organizations these days have that fancy technology that answers the phone automatically and delivers a really nice, warm greeting for the organization. So you'll dial a number, it'll be answered very quickly, and you'll hear an automated message saying, "Thank you for calling ABC Company." If you know the extension you wish to dial, please dial it now. Otherwise, press 1 for accounts, 2 for customer service, 3 for technical, 4 for sales, or hold for the operator. It never ceases to amaze me how many salespeople hold to speak to the operator, which is probably the person that you don't want to speak to. One of the best alternatives is, instead of holding and waiting to speak to the operator, who ultimately is going to be the receptionist or the gatekeeper, the best option is to actually choose one of the other departments. Probably one of the most unsuspecting departments is going to be best. Get through to somebody in that department and you can ask them your question, and because they're not trained gatekeepers, in a lot of situations they're going to give you a lot more information, and they may well transfer you through to the person that you want to speak to without giving it a second thought. So that's my first tip. Second tip is to think about the way that organizations tend to buy telephone numbers. Bear with me for a minute, let me explain. Because if you were to buy the telephone number ending in 2000, because that's quite a cool main telephone number to have for your organization, a lot of organizations won't just buy the telephone number ending in 2000. Because people tend to like to have direct dial numbers these days, organizations tend to buy numbers in blocks. So they'll buy all the telephone numbers between 2000 and 2100, and they'll use all of the numbers apart from 2000 as direct dial numbers for their staff. Well, instead of dialing the main number ending in 2000, why not just try your luck and dial 2010, 2055, for example? Because what you may well find is that you get through to a direct dial number of somebody else in the organization who, again, is not a trained receptionist, they're not a trained gatekeeper, who may well just help you out by transferring you directly through to the person that you want to speak to. So that's my second tip to avoid getting through to the gatekeeper. Third and finally, and I may have mentioned this before in some of my other videos, is to think about the hours that a receptionist tends to work. Receptionists tend to work fairly normal hours, so 9 till 5 or 9 till 5:30. If you're struggling to get through the gatekeeper, if they're not being helpful, why not get in really early and give the person that you want to speak to a call before 9 o'clock? Why not wait after 5:30 in the afternoon and try put a phone call into the person that you want to speak to at 5:30 when you know that the receptionist has gone? There is no golden bullet here, guys. So, there's nothing that's going to work absolutely 100% of the time. But if you're struggling to get through the gatekeeper and you know that you need to get through to the person that you want to speak to, try out these 3 tips and let me know how you get on. Have fun cold calling, guys.